Oh, we're here again. Welcome, friends. I'm Trina, and today we're moving into a very special part of Abby Finds Her Happy Place. Before we move on to the next illustrations, I thought I would bring you up to date on the story. I have gone ahead and created 5 more spreads, leaving some areas with blank sketches so I can work on them while you watch in the next video. So here we go. This is the cover of Abby Finds Her Happy Place, and we're going on to the dedication page, and it's dedicated to children everywhere and the child within us all who lived through the pandemic. May you find your happy place through faith, hope, and resilience. Abby was sad. She was not allowed to play in the park with her friends. She was not allowed to go to school. She could not even visit her grandma or grandpa. Daddy said, you know, everyone, not just us, has to shelter in place. We don't want to catch that horrible, terrible virus going around all over the world. But Abby moaned. I've been marking the calendar on our fridge, and it's already been 10 days. Hmm. Sorry about that. My hand is quicker than the screen. Time passed, and Abby grew more and more bored. She missed playing at school with her best friend Sandra. She missed her teachers. She missed Sunday school, and a lot more. Abby tried to think of positive things, like getting to sleep, uh, like getting to sleep in on weekdays. But being in lockdown, she thought the bad things outnumbered the good. What if it never ends? Daddy kept trying to make Abby feel better. He told her jokes to make her laugh. This is just a glitch. Everyone is doing all they can. You'll see. Things will go back to normal before you know it. Amos made faces at Abby. He made her laugh. Mommy made their favorite foods, and they all sat down to eat together. There was lots to be thankful for. And if you saw the first episode, you'll notice that I have added the mom to the table and Amos, so it's the whole family at the table. Abby looked longingly out the window. That seemed like weeks and weeks ago, she thought. Abby whimpered as Daddy picked her up. I am never going to get to play with my friends again. I really miss going to school. Daddy gave her a pat on her head. He tried to reassure her. We just have to keep ourselves calm and do whatever we can to stay positive. Abby felt better, but the next day she was sad again. Mommy came and sat down on the couch beside her. They watched her little brother Amos play happily with his big dump truck on the floor and then take a turn on his green bouncing ball. Amos was too young to be worried or sad, and both Abby and her mommy were glad about that. You know, Mommy said in a gentle voice, when I was a little girl, not much older than you, I heard on TV that the whole world was going to come to an end the very next week. Were you scared like me, Mommy? Abby was trying to dry her tears. Her mommy's soft voice carried on. Well, yes, when I heard that, I was terrified. I hid in a corner of Grandma's attic. Your grandma had a way of helping me feel better. She told me there are many worrisome times in our lives when it looks like the world will come to an end. It helps if we have practiced connecting with that place of stillness inside ourselves. Then, when something happens, we remain calm and think of things to do from the perspective of helping ourselves and others in troubled times. Abby was still sad. And there you can see the bubble with her mommy as a little girl saying end of the world next week. That was something actual. I actually experienced that myself. Mommy sounded like she was going to tell Abby a secret. After the world really didn't come to an end, I promised my mind, I promised myself I would never be fooled like that again. I imagined playing with my dolls. I imagined flowers, trees, and green hills. I realized God loves all of us and made the world far too beautiful for it to end. Abby perked up her ears. She was starting to get it. Mommy continued, "It is okay to be sad or fearful sometimes. There are times I want to cry too, or things make me in a sad mood. That is when I try little by little to go to my very own happy place." Abby looked up. "Mommy, where is your happy place?" "It is a place where I feel grateful in my heart, like the day you were born. It made me feel so happy. All of the beautiful things we remember in our happy place are like a heaven. They are gifts of God. When we become quiet within, it is like seeking God first and giving thanks, regardless of what is going on. God sees more than we see. So by listening, we get good ideas to act on instead of being fearful. "How do I find my happy place?" asked Abby. "Well, you store up happy, thankful thoughts that you can remember any time you need to feel good again. And of course, chocolate chip cookies always help." That's what I say. That night, after story time, Abby pulled the covers up tight around herself and pinched her eyes closed. "I will find my very own happy place too," she decided. Abby remembered being in her best friend Sandra's birthday party last year. She remembered having a piece of gooey chocolate cake with frosting on top. Abby thought about how good she felt with Sandra and how much they had laughed. She remembered sledding down the big hill at her grandparents' farm. Abby determined to imagine more fun things. Then pretty soon she drifted off into dreamland. The next day she felt happier and played with Amos. Most of the time Abby was a good big sister, but don't tell anyone. She sometimes tricked him, mainly when they played hide and seek. But Abby kept Amos secrets too, like when he hid broccoli under the cushion on his chair at the kitchen table. Amos was only 4 years old, so what did he know anyway? Well, she didn't tattle on Amos when he jumped up and down on his bed and fell off. Abby just got a Band-Aid and put it on his sore knee. They are not supposed to jump on the beds. She had given Amos a big hug and he felt better. So they just continued playing hide and seek. It was her way to keep Amos happy while their parents were busy. Abby could tell her parents were worried sometimes, but they tried to keep positive. Things were hard for Mommy and Daddy, too. The restaurant where Mommy had worked was now closed. She appreciated having more time to be at home, but instead of buying some things she was learning to make them. Abby was glad Mommy was good at sewing. Daddy could not go to work anymore either, but he was able to work on his laptop at home. He needed Amos and Abby to play quietly so he could concentrate, but it was great to have both Mommy and Daddy at home more. The only place they went was to the grocery store. And I'm trying to move it there. Oh, there it goes. The only place they went was to the grocery store. It was awful when they had to stand in line outside for a long time in the cold winter. Do you remember that? I do. Abby sometimes got scolded when she lifted hers to take a deep breath, and Amos actually pulled his off too many times. There were no weekend trips to the toy store, not even to look. Mommy also told Abby that she didn't need any new outfits. Her clothes were not worn out yet. They all tuned in to Sunday school on Zoom, where they sang This Little Light of Mine and heard Bible stories. Abby loved the story about Jesus sleeping peacefully while outside everything was dark and stormy. The people on the boat were scared it would break apart and sink. They feared everyone would drown. So they woke Jesus up and he called out, "Peace, be still." Perhaps Jesus had a secret happy place, too, where he trusted, knowing nothing was bigger than God. And this is the first spread that you haven't seen, and I have it all ready almost and I'm just have to do some more artwork on Amos there. And you know, if I took a video of the whole time that I created this, you would be sitting there for a whole day or two. So this way I can get things ready and position them, and then I will start the next video and fill in the sketches that are coming up. The other thing is that this is a PDF of the files that are in InDesign. And the reason I have to do such a lot of little bit of fiddly work in InDesign is because I have the pages there, and then I do the artwork on the people and get them in Photoshop, and then I save it to the page. But it's all in layers, and things have to fit in the proper space that I have marked out in InDesign. So I often have to go back and forth from Photoshop to InDesign and move the characters around so that they fit nicely into the space and also so that the words show up. So I'll read this and go on from here. Abby was starting to think of her happy place more often. It made her feel calm and hopeful. Abby, can you amuse Amos for a little while? I am making some hot soup for Mrs. Mallory next door. She's very sick. I won't be long. Abby decided to read Amos the story, Freddie Follows the Fire Truck. She almost knew it by heart. It was Amos's favorite. Abby showed Amos the first picture. Then she started reading with her best grown-up voice. Freddie loved fire trucks. One day, a big fire truck with a loud siren went by his house while he was playing with his friends. Abby tried to sound like a fire engine. Ee-yaw, 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 ee-yaw. Freddie and his friends ran after the fire truck down the street. He ran and he ran, and then the fire truck went around a corner and stopped in front of a burning house. Oh my goodness. And you can see the children there have run to the scene to see more, including Freddie. But they are just sketches, and so I have to fill them in the next video. Oh, Freddie watched the firemen pull out big fire hoses. He watched other firemen put up a ladder to rescue people inside. Firemen and firewomen started spraying a lot of water from the hoses to put the fire out. And there's more things to fill in this image also. And this is the last spread that I have done so far, and then I will do the video and I will continue. So all of a sudden, Freddie looked around. All of his friends had left. Freddie was lost. Freddie stopped in his tracks. How was he going to find his way home? He remembered to stay calm like Daddy always told him. He saw a fireman and told him he was lost. The fireman asked if he knew his address and phone number. Freddie's mom had taught him to remember, so he told the fireman, and it's a good thing. That's something you should always teach kids is their address and phone number. A friendly policewoman called his parents, then drove Freddie home in her police car. She even showed Freddie how the lights blinked and the siren sounded just for fun. Before he knew it, he was waving to his mom and dad who were waiting at their front door. Freddie's parents were so glad to see him. I'm sure they were. And so this is the next page, but it's blank and I have to fill it in. And I think we'll stop here and see what to do next. So thank you for spending this time in the studio with me. Remember to find a little bit of your own happy place today, and I'll see you in the next episode while I work on finishing the artwork for the spreads. And it may take 2 videos, I'm not sure. So long now. Have a good day.